and gentlemen, behold the green and gold.
Try to smile every day I wake up, put my knees to the floor and thank my maker. Then I grab the bamboo and funnel, then I bake up. This life is beautiful like my wife with no makeup. But I'm feeling caged up like a parrot who can't fly, spread his wings. There's no meaning to life if you can't fly. So when I walk my life, I'm using my third eye. I see the trap clearly, whatever comes, roll with the punches. But I'm throwing a couple back. Life and happiness in some shoes, so I'm trying to just run with that. But I'm running like running backs. I'm married now, old life, young and I'm done with that. I carried out all the negativity. Sometimes I even see the devil still trying to sit with me, but God ain't forgetting me. And I'm gonna be a better me, so fuck being a caged bird. Somebody take this key and set me free.
Who's gonna set me free?
So again, you know how we get down, man. Went to college together, etc. And it's an honor for us to have you here. You know, tell everybody your name and where you from, man.
Jermaine SNEED from Southside Richmond.
Okay, man. So listen, tell us about Southside Richmond, man. Tell us about that place.
Well, I grew up in I grew up in this place. It was called Porter Street. It was like a apartment building, something like you see on up north. And as a kid, growing up in there, I was like probably 2, 3 years old. My brother wasn't born yet, my little brother, so I was like the only kid for like a couple of years. And good apartment building, you see most move. I'm a little kid outside in the hallway riding a little tricycle. That was the funny part. And growing up there, my mom, she worked. My dad was there, but you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like I was raised, he was there, but he wasn't there. And that was basically the start of a lot of stuff I had seen at a young age, man. I remember seeing my dad would come. I remember, I thought about this the other day, man. My dad, that's why I like Cadillac. My dad had an all-white drop-top Cadillac back in the 70s. And then I look back on that, I was like, man, my dad was a pimp back in the day. And I found out later in years that me and my younger brother was the last two of 13 kids he had. So growing up, you know what I'm saying, I seen a lot, man. And on Porter Street, it was just an apartment building, but I remember, man, the first time, man, I seen a dead body. On movies back in the day, as a detective with them old suits and everything, and my mom would bring me home from the store. And walking up the steps, man, it was a lady lying in the floor. And my mom, you young, they grab you, put you to the side, so you can't see it. So you peeking. So I was going up the steps, and how I later found out what was going on. My mom was talking to one of my aunts, And I just heard her say, yeah, it was a lady dead, such and such, such and such. So as you get older, I used to be a sponge. I look and pay attention to a lot of stuff, and I found out looking at movies a dead body. So it was crazy. But as a kid, you just it just to me, I was just like, okay, that was a dead body. I kept it moving. So my mom later on, we I was we later on moved to what is called a hillside court. It's a project in Southside Richmond. And being how I was, so my brother was born there, so we moved out there, and that's when I really was exposed to other kids because in the apartment we said there was no other kids. It was just me, and then my brother was born. We moved, so I was a little fat kid getting bullied all the time, and growing up in the project, you know what I'm saying. So it was a major adjustment. So now I'm socialized with other kids who, you know what I'm saying, that I never used to. I was picked on, but after a while, I became the person that everybody. I played basketball, football, street ball. A couple of my homeboys I grew up with, you know what I'm saying. One of them coached at Virginia Union. He really was the one to teach me how to play basketball. They played football. I was a fat kid. I couldn't play football because I was too big. So I had a lot of anger built up me growing up, and I seen a lot of stuff, man. And it was like, when you growing up like that, it's just people like, well, why did you do this? You adapt. And then growing up in the project, I later found out that my mom she was a real hustler, and my dad was. And and it was crazy because during that time, you're not even thinking about what's going on. You just living. My mom was the candy lady during the day. I mean, she sold everything, shots of liquor and all that. My dad had a bootleg house in the other projects out Blackwell, and that's the neighborhood like 4 or 5 blocks from where we grew up at. So during the day, my mom was a candy lady. I mean, we all right, but during the night, my mom was selling weed and coke, man. I didn't even. I'm like, whoa. As I got older, I really, because I was a runner. I was exposed to the game young, but I'm crayon green to it because take this over there, take this over there. My mom, she bought us everything. You know what I'm saying? We won't bad. You know what I'm saying? We weren't doing bad. We just started off, and then she just started hustling. And then as I got older, I was always get to fight, man, because I was always bullied. Then my mom told me this one day, bro. It was so funny. I had got beat up by this little next door neighbor, little bitty guy, man. He was always beating me up. And my mom said, "Next time you let that boy beat your ass, I'm gonna beat your ass, and your daddy gonna beat your ass." So me, I'm like, hold on, man. That's 3 ass whoopings, man. I can't take all 3 of them. So I to this day I laugh about it, but I blame my mama for the anger that I had of me starting to fight because the next time he said something to me, man, I punished him. And my uncle, which is my mom older brother, she said, "Hey, kid, you might want to go out there and get Teto. He out there fighting, but it looked like he's doing good for himself." So that's when it really started. Then I started, you know what I'm saying, really evolving because back in the day, man, you play street football. So if you get picked up first, you the man. And
Right.
I played with some heck of athletes, man, for real. And I played with some heck of athletes, man. I look back on them, man. A lot of the athletes that I played with was doing stuff that these guys doing now, but they were doing it back then, man. It was crazy, man. Like one of my homeboy, he stayed right behind me, man. We call him Parkway. His name Robert Johnson, man. Dude was an athlete, played football, basketball, but his calling was basketball. He went on. Matter of fact, he's one of the coaches at Virginia Union where he played ball at. He won a national championship in Division II. He really taught me how to play basketball, man, for real. And his sons are a heck of athletes. And then another dude used to play. We used to call him Charlie Water. This dude, he went to my high school. He was like an all-star, all three sports: football, basketball, baseball. Was doing crazy stuff in high school. You'd be like, look, but it's like the streets, man. I mean, these guys were like for real legends. I can go on and name some other people in Hillside, man. It was just crazy.
But
But in Hillside, when I was growing up, it was wild, man. And over the years after I left, man, it was just saying it got worse. But my mom, man, growing up out there, man, I learned a lot. I seen a lot. Man, man, as soon as I got to Hillside, man, you got a whole bunch of kids outside playing that little park over there. So you going over there, you the new kid. So I jumped off the porch, man. I got beat up, but then after you know what I'm saying, a couple of you know what I'm saying knee scrapes, I was an animal. I was running with the dogs. So after that, man, about this was the early 80s. And then, man, I'd been through there, we lived out there for like, bruh, 4 or 5 years. Where I grew up, Hillside, on Southside, it's going to be Hillside, Blackwell, Afton, and Belle Meade. And then you had Broad Rock, you know what I'm saying? That's more the suburb, but they did, you know what I'm saying? They had houses. But Afton and Belle Meade, they're like the step up from the projects.
right,
So what happened when my reason my mom moved, man, it was crazy to me, man, because my mom was always up on game, man, for real. And my mom was paying like for probably $25-$30 rent in Section 8. So she said we moving. I'm like, well, why we my mom? I remember her taking us. She was going to night school, man,
right.
at night, and we would have to go with her, right? And we would set the car. We didn't know what she do. I let her. She went to night school to get her GED and in the work program, right? Program, right?
Right.
And then we moving. I'm like, we moving? What you mean we moving, mom? We going to pay back then. Rent was like $300-$400. I said, you going to pay $400 and we paying $30? You know what she told me, bro?
What's that?
I don't try to grow up like out here like that. It was like, man, the guys I grew up in Hillside with, when we went across the water, we stuck together, man. And, you know, it was like, we over here. And we're like, bro, this ain't where we be at. So it was like Southside always stuck together. So when we went to school, I went over there for a year before they built our high school. And I remember let's do after we played, you know what I'm saying? We intramural basketball. We from Southside, so you know we represented. And one dude said something. Remember the Wallabies?
Yeah, I got
Man,
some of your name.
man, the dude said, "Man, shut up with your little desert boots." I looked at him, took off on him, punished him.
Right, right,
Then one of the older guys, he was in. I think I was sixth grade. He was a eighth grader, and he was over there. He's from where I stayed in Hillside, and everybody knew him. So when I hooked out, beat him. He's you good, little Tito. He used to call me little Tito. No, yeah, little Tito. Cause I was a too short, chubby, and I just looked off on him, man. Took flight. He said, "Good." I said, "I'm good." And he looked at them, and all my other homeboys from Richmond, they was there too. So that right there gave me like, you know what I'm saying? It was like confidence. The neighborhood, the environment. When people say product of the environment, a lot of kids are, but it's the decisions you make to break that stereotype, man. I don't knock nobody, man, because a lot of people, man, they just get caught up. I ain't gonna never change who I am.
right.
And people like ask me all the time, man, what would you change? I said, man, I can't change nothing because that made me, man. You know what I'm saying? So once we went to my we changed, we switched up and went to the new high school, Thomas C. Bouchard, brand new middle school. And man, look here, man. I was getting suspended from there, man. Fighting all the time, man. It was crazy. And one of my counselors came. It was a white counselor, real cool dude, white glass, curly hair. He used to call me by my nickname. He said, Tito, what's wrong with you? I'm like, man, I don't know, man. He said, well, why you just so angry, man? I'm like, man, he disrespect me, man. He said, well, how? You know what I'm saying? You young. Anybody say anything slick, I used to, man, take flight quick, man. Knock guys out just for GP, man. As I got older, I realized the anger was because I ain't have my dad to really guide me.
Yeah.